3 months ago, the January MasterTech program introduced you to the next generation MOPAR Diagnostic System, known as MDS-2. That program covered the main features of the MDS-2, as well as using the different tabs and common controls. In this month's MasterTech, we'll take what you already know about the MDS-2 and put it to use by working with vehicle data recordings, one of the key features of the Tools tab. You'll also see how the Basic Engine Analyzer, or BEA, works with the MDS-2, which is another important part of the Tools tab. The purpose of this MasterTech is to give you the ability to create, upload, and transfer data recordings using the DRB III and Co-Pilot with the MDS-2, as well as to familiarize you with using the BEA with the MDS-2. After completing this program, you'll be able to create and download a data recording template to the DRB or Co-Pilot and upload a data recording you made to the MDS-2. You'll also know the different ways to view a data recording on the MDS-2, as well as how to transfer data recordings to disk or to the Star Center. Additionally, you'll be familiar with using different functions of the BEA with the MDS-2. Vehicle data recordings and the MDS-2 are important items in your diagnostic toolbox, especially when you're faced with an intermittent drivability problem. Before we get started, you should note that this program assumes that you are already familiar with using the MDS-2 for diagnostics, service information, and other things. If you have not done so already, you should complete all of the MDS-2 online training modules. You can also watch the January 1999 MasterTech program to come up to speed on using the MDS-2. Contact your Customer Connect coordinator to make sure the MDS-2 in your dealership is updated to the latest version. Data recordings are available only while you are working within a vehicle identification number session. That is, they are not available during a year, model, engine, or training session. The information in this program will begin at the Tools tab with the Select a Tool Display drop-down menu set to Controller Recording Viewer. With that said, the first thing you need to know about making data recordings with the MDS-2 is how to work with templates. What's a template, you might be asking? A template is a predetermined set of vehicle data that will be captured during a recording. These items are PCM inputs and outputs that are selected by the user and downloaded into the recording device. In other words, a template is a way of configuring the DRB III or Co-Pilot to record the particular information you want to look at. You should keep in mind that since a data recording holds a finite amount of information, as more items are added to a template, less data is recorded for each item. The template also determines what the display on the MDS-2 will look like. Another thing to take into consideration when creating a template. On the MDS-2, you can select a template to use from a list of ready-built standard templates, or you can create your own. From the Controller Recording Viewer screen, click on the Template button in the upper middle part of the display. This brings up the template screen. Directly under the common controls are 3 buttons that allow you to do different things with templates. To access the standard templates, click on Select a Display or Recording Template. The display shows a list of available standard templates along with the contents of those templates. The list of standard templates has recently been expanded and now includes ones for the charging system, air conditioning, idle control, speed control, cooling system, ignition control, fuel control, evaporative monitor, EGR monitor, and no start monitor. Under the available templates list is the template name, the vehicle system, the tech ID of the template owner, and the date and time it was last saved. You can sort the list of available templates according to category by clicking the category heading with the light pin. In the template contents, the list of signal names is shown, along with various display settings. At the bottom of the template selection screen are buttons that activate the Select a Template on the MDS-2 and download the template to either the DRB or Co-Pilot. The Done button takes you back to the controller recording viewer display. Remember that you cannot edit the list of items on these standard templates or otherwise change the template in any way. You can, however, create your own custom templates that are based on the standard templates. To do this, click the Create Edit Template button on the template screen. The display changes to the Create and Edit Template window. Here you can name your custom template, build a list of signals to record, adjust the placement of each signal in the list, and set the graph display attributes. Let's go through the process for creating a custom data recording template on the MDS-2. At the Create and Edit Template screen, first type a name for your template in the text box. Use appropriate information when naming your template, such as the year and model of the vehicle, the last 8 digits of the VIN, or the symptom. You can also choose to browse through other template names here. In the Available Items section, click on the checkbox to show only DRB III Data Recorder or Co-Pilot compatible items in the list of signal names. Select the signal name you want to add to the template by highlighting it with the light pen. Then click the right arrow. An X will appear next to the signal name in the list. You can add the entire list of signals to your template by clicking the double right arrow. To delete signals from your template, highlight the signal name in the Selected Items list and click the left arrow. In the Selected Items section, you can organize the signals in your template according to your placement by alphabetical order or by order of importance by clicking the appropriate radio button. A checkbox is included to move signals that are out of normal operating range to the top of the list, which can help you identify abnormal signals. The next thing to do is to select which signals from your template will be graphed on the display. To graph all your selected signals, click on the double right arrow. To graph only certain signals, select the signal name from the list and click on the Graph button. Under the Graphed Items section, you can set options such as the position of each signal, the display range, and type, and the total time the graph will cover. You can also choose to display either 1 or 2 signal graphs per section. Refer to the latest MDS-2 User's Guide for complete information on creating custom data recording templates. To save your custom template, click the Save button on the bottom of the screen. Other buttons allow you to activate the template on the MDS-2 or to save it under a different name. Click Done to return to the controller recording viewer display. Now your template is ready to record vehicle information. We'll see how to download the template to the DRB III or Co-Pilot in the next segment. Give this review question a try before we move on. When creating a custom data recording template, how can you determine whether or not a particular signal can be recorded with the DRB or Co-Pilot? A. An X appears next to the signal name. B. Signals that cannot be recorded appear in red type. C. Click the checkbox to display only DRB or Co-Pilot compatible signals. Or D. A list of signal names automatically changes when the DRB or Co-Pilot is connected to the MDS-2. The answer is C. In the Create and Edit Template window, click on the checkbox to show only DRB III Data Recorder or Co-Pilot compatible items in the list of signal names. Now that we've seen how templates are created to record vehicle data, let's see how to download a template into the DRB or Co-Pilot. Before downloading the template, the DRB or Co-Pilot must be connected to the MDS-2. If you're using the DRB, connect it to the MDS-2 power supply using cable CH7025. Connect the other end of this cable to the vehicle port on the DRB. Then connect the GPIB cable on the side of the MDS-2 to the MDS port on the DRB. The DRB must be in the MDS-2 connected mode, and you have to select Run MDS-2 application before the template can be downloaded. If you're downloading the template to the Co-Pilot, connect one of the two leads of the cable to the MDS-2 power supply and the other lead to the Co-Pilot data port on the side of the MDS-2 using the serial communication cable. Be sure the switch for the data connection is in the Co-Pilot position. When the Co-Pilot is powered up, the red and green lights flash at different rates. If your MDS-2 does not have a cart, connect the appropriate cable to the port on the back of the client. After cabling the recording device, click on Select a Display or Recording Template and highlight the template you want to download. Then click on either Download to DRB or Download to Co-Pilot to configure the appropriate data recorder. As the template is transferred to the DRB, the worm in the bottom left corner moves intermittently. When a template is loaded into the Co-Pilot, the green light flickers during the download. Once you have downloaded the template into the DRB or Co-Pilot, you can unhook the data recorder from the MDS-2 and connect it to the vehicle you want to make a recording from. Connect the DRB to the vehicle's data link connector using the CH7000 cable. From the DRB III main menu, select option 2, Connect to MDS-1 or MDS-2. Then select Run MDS-2 application. Once the DRB loads the MDS-2 application, select option 2, DRB Data Recorder. The data recorder screen displays triggering instructions and should show that events 1 and 2 are empty and ready to record. The Co-Pilot also gets connected to the DLC, plus you have to place the trigger in the vehicle for the customer. Be sure no cables are hanging loose or otherwise in the way of the vehicle's pedals or controls. When the Co-Pilot is connected, both lights flash. When the vehicle is started, the green light stays on. The trigger light will also be illuminated after the vehicle is started. During your road test, you should operate the vehicle under the same conditions the customer said the drivability symptom occurred. To trigger the recording manually with the DRB, just press any key when you want to start gathering data. To start recording with the Co-Pilot, press the button on the trigger. While data is being recorded, the light on the trigger will flash at the same rate as the green light on the Co-Pilot. After the recording is made, the light on the trigger will be on, while the green light on the Co-Pilot will flash, indicating a stored recording. The recording capacity of the Co-Pilot is 3 45-second recordings. If you make more than 3, the oldest recording is deleted when the fourth is triggered. The DRB can hold 2 recordings of approximately 37 to 39 seconds each. Then it must be reconfigured. After capturing the data that you need to diagnose the problem, head back to the service bay to upload the recording. Connect the data recorder to the MDS-2 in the same fashion you did to download the template. At the Controller Recording Viewer screen, click on the Select Recording button, which brings up the Select Recording window. At the top of the window is the Select Recording Location drop-down menu. Click on the arrow to display the choices. To upload the data recording from either the DRB or Co-Pilot, highlight the appropriate location. The list shows the recordings under the name of the template used to create it. When you highlight a recording, 4 of the 8 buttons at the bottom of the Select Recording window become active. To upload 1 or more recordings, click the Move button. At the Move dialog box, make sure the recording destination is set to MDS-2. After naming the recordings, you become the owner and they'll be saved to the list of available recordings. There are many different options to choose from when it comes to working with data recordings saved on the MDS-2. We'll cover them in the next segment, right after another review question. How many data recordings can the DRB III hold at one time? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4? The correct answer is B. The DRB3 can hold a total of 2 data recordings. Then it has to be reconfigured to record more information. Once a data recording has been uploaded, the MDS2 offers a lot of flexibility in how the information is displayed. Before we cover the different display attributes, though, let's take a look at how you can organize the recordings. The buttons at the bottom of the Select Recording screen allow you to do different things with the data recording saved on the MDS2. By highlighting the recording name and clicking the Delete button, you can delete a recording from the list, provided you are the owner of that recording. The Delete Recording window will appear so you can confirm or cancel the deletion. Once you select Delete here, the recorded information is lost. You can change the name of a recording you own by selecting the recording and clicking the Rename button. Then type in the new name and click OK. A handy feature for data recordings is the notes the owners can attach to each recording file. Select the Edit Notes button to enter this information. At the Edit Notes window, type in the information you want in the text box. When you're finished, click on OK. After the Edit Notes window closes, the new information is shown in the Notes area of the Select Recording screen. You can also copy or move the data recording files at the Select Recording screen. To copy data recordings, first insert a disk in the floppy drive of the MDS2. Then use the light pen to highlight the recording names you want to copy and click the Copy button. After confirming this operation, the files are copied to the disk. The Move button copies the recording file to the A drive like the Copy button, except the original file is removed from the MDS2 hard drive. You can transfer a data recording to another client on the network with the Send to Another Site button. You must have the LAN Advantage program loaded, however, so you may need to talk to your Customer Connect coordinator. Also use this button should you need to transfer a recording to the Star Center. Follow the instructions in the dialog box. Finally, the Done button does nothing more than close the Select Recording window. Now let's take a close look at the data recording display. When a data recording is displayed on the controller recording viewer screen, the display is divided into a recording information area and a graph area. Located beneath the Tool Selection menu, the recording information includes the recording name, the vehicle identification number, the date and time the recording was made, the tech ID, the template name, and the year, engine, and fuel type of the vehicle. The DTC button on the bottom left of the window replaces this information with a description of any DTC that was recorded. The button changes to Info when selected. Beneath the recording information is the recording contents, which is each signal name with its associated system and its value at a given time. You can change between US and metric units by using the radio buttons below the recording contents. The Full Name button shows the entire name of each signal in the recording without the system and value. The button changes to abbreviation. The graph of each signal is displayed on the right side of the controller recording viewer screen. Each graph plots the signal value in the appropriate units over time. At the top of each graph, you'll find the signal name along with the current, minimum, average, and maximum values contained within that graph. Beneath the graphs, a slide bar indicates the total time of the recording. Use the arrows or slide bar to display different parts of the graphs. On the left side of each graph is the scale, which you can change using the up and down arrows. The Change Scale button at the bottom of the window can also be used to adjust the preset values of a graph's scale. When it's selected, instructions for changing the scale appear in place of the recording contents. Under the left side of the time scale is a box containing numbers which corresponds to the point-in-time cursor. As you drag the point-in-time cursor, the value in the box changes, indicating the signal's value at that particular time in the recording. The cursor with the clock icon can be positioned anywhere along the graph. It has a couple of different functions. When both cursors are positioned on the graph, the difference in time between the cursors is displayed in the Change in Time box under the graphs. The clock cursor also functions as a starting point, with the point-in-time cursor as an end point when you want to look closer at a portion of the graph. After positioning the cursors, click on the plus magnifying glass button. This zooms the display into the time period you selected with the cursors. As its name implies, the Remove Cursors button eliminates the cursors from the display. To bring them back, the button changes to Restore Cursors. The Auto Playback button plays back the entire recording starting at the beginning, showing you the data as it was recorded. The button changes to Stop Playback when selected. Click on the Full Screen button when you want to see a larger view of the graphs. The recording information is not shown in this view, and the button changes to Normal Screen. Clicking on the Select Colors button brings up a window where you can change the color scheme of the graph display. This can help you easily identify signals that are out of range. That's the long and short of viewing data recordings on the MDS-2. We did not get into analyzing the data due to time considerations, but information on data recording analysis is available. Although the September 1995 MasterTech deals with data recordings made with MDS-1, its principles of data analysis still apply. Here's another review question to try before we look at the basic engine analyzer displays on the MDS-2. True or false? You can create and edit the notes attached to a data recording made by another technician. That's false. In order to delete, rename, or edit the notes of a data recording, you must be the owner of that recording. The Basic Engine Analyzer is a versatile tool that you may already be familiar with, and the MDS-2 adds greatly to that versatility. The BEA helps you check the operation of vital engine components, such as the starting, charging, and ignition systems. When connected to the MDS-2, the BEA utilizes the color monitor to graphically display information. BEA tools available on the MDS-2 include a digital multimeter, cranking and charging system test, drain test, secondary ignition test, cylinder efficiency test, cylinder misfire recall, ignition scope test, and a dual trace scope. The BEA is connected to the MDS-2 at the data port marked BEA on the right side of the cart. Be sure the button is in the BEA position. Let's take a quick look at what each BEA tool display looks like on the MDS-2. The BEA digital multimeter display features readouts for engine RPM, battery voltage, dwell, and amperage. The cranking and charging system test shows the voltage, amperage, dwell, and RPM during engine cranking, in addition to a display for open circuit volts. The BEA battery drain test checks the current draw on the battery, showing a low amperage alarm level, among other information. The secondary ignition test is a useful tool that graphically displays the average voltage and duration of each cylinder's secondary ignition circuit. The BEA also has a cylinder efficiency test that shows the relative RPM drop per cylinder. The efficiency test helps you pinpoint things like poor combustion, blow-by, and other cylinder problems. The cylinder misfire recall display includes the burn time in milliseconds and the peak voltage of the ignition for each cylinder, along with engine speed information. The BEA ignition scope test shows primary ignition data and engine speed. This test has 4 different display modes. The last BEA tool on the MDS-2 is the dual trace scope, which shows a voltage waveform for each of 2 channels. Remember to refer to the MDS-2 User's Guide for further information about using data recorders and the BEA with the MDS-2. There is also a course that covers data recordings available at your local training center. That'll do it for this month's MasterTech program.